politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Football fans, the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show is officially back. Every Sunday morning starting at 11:30 a.m., College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and Justin Kinner will be live at Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall. The guys will recap the biggest games from college football Saturday, including your Ohio State Buckeyes. The guys will also get you set up for the day's biggest NFL matchups, featuring your Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals, and more. It's the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show, live from Frickers on 741, Sunday mornings at 11:30 on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, we are back. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
All right, happy Thursday. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. I'm sorry for all of you who are watching live on Facebook and YouTube and listening in your car, in your garage, out running errands, wherever you are, but you're stuck with just me today. That's right, Kev Nash off today and tomorrow, and we all know that when no one's here to kind of keep me in check a little bit, that the show can get off the rails, and that's where you guys come in. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call in and jump in on the conversation. Again, as I mentioned, we are rolling live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show. Like, follow, subscribe, and be a part of everything we do weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. We, of course, post content throughout the day, interactive content just kind of leading into the shows. A lot of that stuff we usually do talk about on the show whenever that time comes. But so David Shaw, you know what? I'll be nice. How are you, sir? Good afternoon, sir. David Shaw kicks us off on Facebook. He says, good afternoon, good sir. So you know what? I'm in a good mood today. I'm all dressed up. I had court today. I lost the kids. It's okay. I'll get them back next time. I'm joking. I did not have court today. I have a game tonight, so I'm dressed up. You look good. You play good. That's all that matters. But anyways, want to open up with this. A little Cincinnati Bengals talk to open up. We got a lot to get into still. I want to pick up with where we left off yesterday afternoon when it comes to the perception of the Hall of Fame. Bobby Carpenter, I know, former Buckeye, college football, NFL. Usually we talk college football and that type of stuff when it comes to Bobby Carpenter, but he had an interesting tweet earlier today as to why do we get so outraged about the Hall of Fame and the players that aren't in it? Why does it seem that we care more about the players of the past than we actually do about the players of today? We'll get into that coming up here in a moment. But all day today, as we get closer and closer to this AFC Championship matchup with the Kansas City Chiefs between with your Cincinnati Bengals, of course, I'm finding it fascinating how many of you are letting what others say about this team really kind of drive the narrative of the way you feel heading into this weekend. And we lightly touched on it yesterday. And the big question I have is, like, so earlier today, for instance, and by the way, this is how outlandish some of this has been that I've actually had to come to the Bengals' defense on a lot of stuff today when it comes to national media. There is just all week, it's just been people drooling over Patrick Mahomes, drooling over the Kansas City Chiefs, that the Bengals are a cute little feel-good story, but they're not Patrick Mahomes. They are not the Kansas City Chiefs. That they're basically being summed up as like that team come March, like when, it's about to be February in a week. College basketball will really take front and center when it comes to the attention of most. We'll get to Selection Sunday. We'll start circling our upsets on our brackets, and we're going to go all goo gaga for our Cinderella teams, right? Like, that's the feel that that's the vibe I get from national media when talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. When they talk about the Chiefs, they talk about the Rams, they talk about the Niners. There's like confidence in their voice. They say it confidently when talking about the Chiefs. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, and the Rams have Matthew Stafford, and obviously, the Niners have that defense and Coach Shanahan, and the Bengals, they're cute. They have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. And don't worry, this isn't a segment where I bash your team. I notice it. I'm here to acknowledge that I notice what you notice. I'm here to tell you that I see what you see, and I'm here to tell you who cares. Nick Wright on one of the FS1 shows in the morning And this is how bad it is that I actually have to tweet out defense of the of this team, right? Like that's what's crazy about it. So Nick Wright tweets out earlier today that on his show, First Things First, he says, I've seen the Chiefs score 54 in the postseason. I saw the Bengals last week score 1 touchdown. I like Joe Burrow, but he can't go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes because nobody can. Now, I saw that. I shared it on Twitter. I retweeted it, posted it on Facebook as well, mainly because it wasn't because of my thoughts on it. It was mainly because I was paying attention to the Bengals fans' reactions to this. Why do you let stuff like this trigger you? Why? Why do you care what Nick Wright has to say about your team? If he's not a fan of your team or isn't picking your team, who cares? The other thing I always question is if you have a guy like Nick Wright or Colin Cowherd, and Colin Cowherd's high up on the Bengals. He's not picking them over the Chiefs, though, but he does like Joe Burrow and the Bengals. You know, I see Skip Bayless is all on board the Joe Burrow bandwagon and the Bengals bandwagon, the Joe Burrow train and what have you. And I get a good kick out of a lot of these guys like Stephen A. Smith or Skip Bayless or others. Every time they spew anything out of their mouth, you guys constantly say, they're the worst. I can't stand them. Nobody watches or listens to them until they tell you what you want to hear. Skip Bayless today was complimenting Joe Burrow. He thinks that Joe Burrow is the next Tom Brady. He thinks that Joe Burrow has all the same qualities and the it factor that Tom Brady has. Just that ability to lead, just his presence alone on the sideline gives a team the belief and feel that they are going to win every single game. That was Skip Bayless today. Bengals fans drooling all over. You love him. You love him. Now, Skip Bayless went from not credible to just a hack to a guy that just, says things to get clicks and a reaction to, oh my gosh, Skip Bayless is the most credible reporter out there. I love Skip Bayless. I was laughing at you Bengals fans today for doing that because you guys hate Skip Bayless. But now you love him because he's telling you what you want to hear. But a guy like Nick Wright, who, a lot of people have various opinions on him. I like him, actually. I think he does a very good job. I like seeing guys that are close to my age kind of work their way up and get to levels that, I one day hope to get to, right? But like, I respect Nick Wright, but you guys hate Nick Wright because Nick Wright comes out and says things like, well, I've seen the Chiefs score 54 in the postseason before. I just watched the Bengals score 1 touchdown last week. He's not wrong for saying that. The Chiefs have scored 50-plus points in a postseason game before. He's not wrong for pointing out that the Bengals offense only produced 1 touchdown last week. I brought that up earlier in the week, and I'm labeled a hater. Nick Wright brings that up. He's labeled a hater. And the question I have is, why do you care? He didn't say anything wrong, technically. I wasn't wrong when I brought up the fact that they only had 1 offensive touchdown. They haven't had a passing touchdown in 6 straight quarters. I brought all those things up. Nick Wright brings similar things up. You guys lose your mind, and the question I have is, who cares? Who cares? Like, that's the thing that drives me absolutely crazy is I'm going to say things about your team that you like, and then you're going to like what I have to say, and you're going to like the segment. You're going to enjoy it. And then the second I tell you something you don't like, I'm not credible. I'm the worst. That's what always happens. That's what fascinates me about this game of sports media is, people, when they judge you based on your ability to host a show or do a show, it's not on whether you're talented or not. It's about whether you're telling them what they want to hear. If I'm not telling you that your team is good, if I'm not telling you that Joe Burrow is Tom Brady, if I'm not telling you these things, you guys get angry at me. Everyone hates Skip Bayless, but Skip Bayless, he says Joe Burrow's the next Tom Brady. I have Bengals Twitter all day today. Oh, Skip Bayless this, Skip Bayless that. You guys crack me up. But the question I have is I remember last year when the Browns made the playoffs, I was jacked. I was excited. I couldn't believe it. It was so strange talking about the Browns being in the playoffs. It was so strange tuning into the Browns each week, expecting them to win. For decades and decades, no one expected the Browns to win. You hoped that they would win. You hoped that they made enough moves in the offseason. You hoped that 105th quarterback that they're rolling out there at this time was going to work out, and none of them did until Baker Mayfield, and then the Browns start winning, and now there's an expectation to win, and now there's people criticizing the organization because they're not living up to what their potential was, which is crazy because the Browns haven't had potential for decades. I remember how exciting it was when they were in the playoffs last year. And I also remember all the negative talk about the team on all the various shows, whether it be sports talk radio, on the television side. And really, all I cared about was I gravitated towards the hosts that were telling me how great my team is. I understand why you do it. I do it too. But I never let the negative stuff get in my way of cheering on my team. I feel like you Bengals fans are doing a little bit too much of that. You're letting people like Nick Wright or me from time to time, or you're letting the people that doubt the Bengals, you let that get to you. You guys care more about what is being said bad about your team than what's being said good about your team. The question I have is who cares? I'm a Browns fan. If I have a little biased take on your team, why do you care? Why do you care if I don't actually look at your team as one of the best teams in the National Football League? Which, by the way, the proof that why do you care? My opinion doesn't matter. Because I've been telling you for years, the Bengals aren't any good. They're not going to make the playoffs. I laughed at those who said that they were going to win 8 or more games this year. They're a game away from a Super Bowl. My opinion doesn't matter. Who cares? Just enjoy this. Because last year, a lot of people tried to make the Browns playoff run unenjoyable. And I didn't let that happen. I didn't let you guys rain on my parade. So I guess I'm just asking, why do you let guys like me and others do that for you? There's no reason to get angry. There's no reason to call names, and there's no reason to literally just try to tell someone that they're the worst at their job because they don't tell you that your team is good. I've always said before, if you want to make fun of my height, do you want to make fun of my weight, you want to make fun of if my voice annoys you, if you don't like the format of the show, you don't like, how, whatever it is, I'm all for that. Tell me that. But if you don't like me just because I don't share the same sports opinion as you, like that's it, that you're soft. Bengals fans, stop being soft. And there's soft fans in every fan base. But today, I'm here to tell you this. You shouldn't care that so many people are picking the Chiefs over your team. And here's why. They should. They should. The Chiefs should be picked over the Bengals. The Chiefs do have Patrick Mahomes. You have Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is really good. Joe Burrow is new to the scene. And you know what? Everybody that's picking the Chiefs to win, they've earned that right. Cincinnati hasn't earned that right for everyone to be gravitating towards them, saying that all of a sudden you beat Derek Carr, you beat Ryan Tannehill. That's it. Move over, Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow is replacing you. No. That's how good Patrick Mahomes is, because Joe Burrow is freaking great. You look at the turnaround in 2 years, what Joe Burrow has done in Cincinnati. To sit there and be upset because national media galore is taking the sides of the Chiefs. They're taking I need to frame it this way. Nobody is anti-Cincinnati Bengals. Just because they're picking Patrick Mahomes and picking the Chiefs, it doesn't mean that they don't believe your team is any good. It's because it's Patrick Mahomes. Like, you guys are getting offended by people picking the best quarterback in the National Football League to win this game. And they should. But it is your team. What makes this opportunity fun is your team has an opportunity to do something that Josh Allen couldn't do, to do something that only Tom Brady does, which is beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Tom Brady's the only quarterback that's capable of beating Patrick Mahomes in the postseason, right? The last time Patrick Mahomes lost in the playoffs, last year's Super Bowl. The last time he lost in the playoffs before that, it was 2 years ago, 2019, in the playoffs. So to sit here and act like it's offensive that nobody's picking your team, you're smarter than that. You got to understand that they are not anti-Joe Burrow, that they don't hate your team. They don't have the Kinner shtick of just picking against the Bengals just to get a reaction, right? That's what you guys say. Oh, Kinner, that's just his shtick. He just picks against the Bengals to get a reaction. You can believe whatever you want about me, but you guys got to understand that the national media, they're picking Patrick Mahomes because he's Patrick Mahomes. They're not picking Patrick Mahomes because Joe Burrow's a bum. They're not picking Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs because your team is bad. They're picking Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs because, I don't know, they're a game away from getting back to the Super Bowl for the third straight season. And this is the first time you've won a playoff game in 31 years, and you're offended because the national media is picking Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow's really, really freaking good. The playoff matchups last week were fan-freaking-tastic, and I think that this weekend's games are going to be just as fantastic as last weekend. I think we're going to see another shootout between the Bengals and the Chiefs. I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to play lights out, and guess what? Just because he plays lights out doesn't mean that Joe Burrow won't. Does anyone think that Josh Allen played poorly last weekend just because he lost to Patrick Mahomes? No. More people are pissed off about a coin flip, not about the quarterback play. Okay, and I think that's where we're at right now when it does come to this Bengals-Chiefs matchup. Who cares what the national media has to say? Who cares what Nick Wright has to say? Who cares what Dan Orlovsky and Marcus Spears and Max Kellerman and Keyshawn Johnson and who cares what Jay Williams? Who cares what all the national media says? Who cares what the local nobody boob in Dayton, Ohio, Justin Kinner has to say? The bottom line is everyone that's picking the Chiefs, it's because they're supposed to. The Chiefs earned that. Patrick Mahomes earned that. And it's the Bengals' job to earn the respect of the media this coming up weekend. You're a feel-good story. freaking talented as all get out. As a Browns fan, yes, you got me to say it. Baker Mayfield is not as good as Joe Burrow, and that's not even a hot take. Okay, it is what it is. That's just common sense. Not even close. And the Bengals could have a less talented roster than the Browns, but as long as they have Joe Burrow, that roster will always be they'll get more production out of that Bengals roster because of Joe Burrow than the Browns will get from their quarterback in Baker Mayfield. I could bash my team to make you feel better about yours for hours. But the bottom line is I'm telling you this. I'm not picking the Chiefs this weekend because I hate your team or because it goes in line with everything I've done all season picking against your team. I'm picking the Chiefs because they have Patrick Mahomes. I'm not picking the Chiefs because I don't believe in your team. I'm picking the Chiefs because it's Patrick freaking Mahomes. And eventually, it's going to get to the point where everyone's picking the Bengals. Think back 3 years ago, by the way. Patrick Mahomes comes into the league and he catches everyone by surprise, and he's winning an MVP, and he's getting to the Super Bowl in year 2 as a starter, winning a Super Bowl MVP as a starter. Now everyone picks the Chiefs. No one picks against Patrick Mahomes, but 2 years ago that wasn't the case. Everyone was talking about, the Chiefs are a good story, but you're not getting past Tom Brady with the Patriots. Oh, he's a good story, but he's not going to get past Aaron Rodgers and the Packers out of the NFC. Oh, he's not going to get past Tom Brady and the Bucs out of the NFC. Patrick Mahomes has earned the right at this point of his career so early. Joe Burrow's a hell of a story 2 years in. Patrick Mahomes, his first 2 years was even more magical than the first 2 years of Joe Burrow. And that's not a shot at Joe Burrow. That's just how freaking good Patrick Mahomes is. All right, my opening rant is officially done. I can kind of step away for a few moments, and I'm going to load up the phone lines. 518-1410. Kev Nash is out today, so the phone lines will only be open during the commercial breaks. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Twitter as well. We're live on YouTube. Head there now. Search ESPN Dayton and subscribe on YouTube, and then search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Like, subscribe there. Comments, I see them filled in the chat section. I want to get to that on the other side. But 518-1410. Why do you care what the national media says, and why do you get offended by it? Like, you guys got to start learning how to compartmentalize analysis on these network shows, because just because they're picking the Chiefs, it doesn't mean that they're picking against your team. They're just picking the Chiefs. The Chiefs are that good. Patrick Mahomes, it's Patrick Mahomes, and you're offended because they're not picking your team over Patrick Mahomes? Relax. 518-1410. Justin Kinner here with you this afternoon, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? With nights getting longer, it might be time to refresh your headlights. You'll see better and drive safer. Why not try Sylvania Silver Star Ultra bulbs? They have the furthest down road light, and right now you can get a $10 AutoZone gift card by mail or email when you buy two. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or free next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
The Dayton Fire Department is hiring and accepting applications beginning January 4th, running through February 20th. If you have a determined attitude and are looking for an exciting job with great pay, superior training, with college credits available after training, excellent benefits, and a rewarding career, then the Dayton Fire Department needs you. Visit joindaytonfire.com for more information today. Minorities especially encouraged to apply. The DFD is an equal opportunity employer. The Dayton Fire Department. Come live the dream.
The Montgomery County Clerk of Courts Help Center brings the courthouse to the community with its weekly outreach programs to local churches, libraries, and community centers. We help you navigate the legal system. Find a location near you at courthouse2u.com. Brought to you by Montgomery County Clerk of Courts Mike Foley.
Why does Walgreens offer copays as low as $0 and 90-day refills? Because we care about Medicare, so you don't have to. I mean, do you really care to hear me go on about same-day prescription delivery making your life easier? Or how there's a pharmacy expert available 24/7 and one-click refills? Well, I just did anyways. Fill your Medicare prescriptions with Walgreens and save.
$0 copays apply to Tier 1 generic drugs and select plans with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Restrictions apply. See walgreens.com/Medicare for complete details.
Yes, Miss Tubbs. No problem. I'll call someone about the plumbing.
One of Beatrice's properties needs a new superintendent.
The custodial team is not
someone with handyman superpowers and a concierge alter ego.
Does anyone know any good electricians near Parkville?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Ray Magliozzi here. eBay Motors has the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. And if there's one thing I love, it's great parts and great prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, body shop manager at Germain Honda Beaver Creek. Our technicians have over 125 years of total experience. That means we can repair your vehicle correctly and efficiently. So when you need a dependable body shop, we're here. And we repair all makes and models with new state-of-the-art equipment to get you back on the road quickly. Plus, we offer loaner cars during service and free estimates. Stop by and see us. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, State Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Looking to buy or sell your home? Give Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty a call today, 937-572-7425. Again, Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Give him a call today, 572-7425. Brad just helped my fiance and I. We just closed on our first home, and we're getting more and more comfortable, getting more and more projects done around the house. And I just hate that we bought a house in the middle of winter when we have this badass patio. We have this great backyard. We just put a nice fence in, and now I just got to sit in my living room and stare out the window in the cold and just think about and be excited about whenever I can go out there finally when it warms up. But this winter weather, man, it's I hate it. I hate it, as I'm sure all of you do as well. But 518-1410, it's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Mine is Kev Nash today. The show brought to you by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty and Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. And all day today on social media, Rather than sing excitement about the Bengals and the Chiefs game on Sunday at 3:00, the AFC Championship game, it's just nothing but negativity from Bengals fans pissed off because this host over here is picking Patrick Mahomes over Joe Burrow. This host over here said that Joe Burrow doesn't have a chance against Patrick Mahomes. Well, this host over here forgot that the Bengals just beat the Chiefs, a couple weeks ago, what have you. Where's the excitement about the game on Sunday? I'm not accusing you guys of not being excited about the game on Sunday, but if it's happening on social media, then that means it's happening everywhere, right? Like we base everything by what we see off of social media. So, wanted to open up the show today and just get back to worrying and just enjoying the run right now. Like you guys waited 31 years to finally get a playoff win. You have back-to-back playoff wins over the last couple of weeks. You're a game away from a Super Bowl, and you're more worried about what these random national hosts have to say about your team. Who cares? Who cares? Because if Joe Burrow and the Bengals beat the Chiefs for the second time this season and, advance to the Super Bowl, guess what? There's going to be a lot more national hosts and media on your side moving forward. But you beat Derek Carr, you beat Ryan Tannehill. The best way to do it is to get that splash win against a guy like Patrick Mahomes. And it's the best way to do it. And it's the best way to get people's attention. Is it completely fair? No. Should the attention already be on the team for what they've accomplished to this point in such a quick turnaround? I do believe they've had that attention. The Bengals are being talked about on more shows now than I've heard in quite some time, and not for bad reasons. It's not about who the Bengals should take at number 5. Should they take an offensive lineman or a wide receiver? Oh, man, the 2 years ago, the Bengals are going to take Joe Burrow, number 1 overall, but should they kick the tires on Tua Tagovailoa? No. That's the only stuff. Every time we talk about the Bengals, or not we, but national media would talk about the Bengals, it would be about that type of stuff. Oh, Hushmanzada goes on a show on Fox and talks about the used jockstrap story. Oh, yeah, you guys got a lot of coverage there. Who cares? What if they're not picking you to win right now? Because they're talking about you. They're talking about the Bengals. They're talking about Joe Burrow. The last time they used to talk this much about the Bengals quarterback, it was how average Andy Dalton was and how the Bengals need to improve at quarterback. Take it right now. Take what they're giving you, because if this team is as good as you think and they take care of business this Sunday, they're going to hear so much about your team. It's going to piss me off as a Browns fan. How about that? But 518-1410 reaction, 518-1410. Give us a call. Let's go to Dakota. Dakota, thanks for holding, sir. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. I appreciate you holding, man. What you got for us today?
Look, man, I'm 27. I've been a Bengals fan since the day I was born. They haven't won a playoff game since I've been alive. I am absolutely overly ecstatic at the fact that we are where we are now. We went from 2-14 to 4-10, and now we're 10-7 looking at the AFC Championship game against Mahomes. As a Bengals fan, I am ecstatic that we flipped the switch the way that we did. And, it's thanks to Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and the luck that we've had. But the fact that the national media isn't covering it doesn't bother me a bit. Because if you look at all season, every time they've counted Cincinnati out, Cincinnati surprises them.
And they've done that all season, because usually when there's, people are usually right when they doubt the Bengals, right? And people rarely pick the Bengals, and that narrative is starting to change now. Joe Burrow is starting to have that impact where you're eventually going to get to a point where picking against the Bengals, you're going to start saying, oh man, it's hard to bet against Joe Burrow. Like, it's going to get to that point if it's not already there. If he wasn't going up against Patrick Mahomes, I do wonder, Dakota, if the Bills would have won, what do you think the perception of the Bengals would be in this matchup, Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow? Is it all Chiefs right now just because it's Patrick Mahomes and potentially a game away from his 3rd straight Super Bowl? What do you think the difference in the perception of this matchup would be if it was Josh Allen against Joe Burrow? And by the way, Josh Allen just as talented.
I honestly think that the narrative would be exactly the same. Look at what Josh Allen has done over the last couple of years. He's constantly met up with Patrick Mahomes in the postseason, and Patrick Mahomes has just gotten the better opportunity. As Patrick Mahomes said in the postgame, it came down to a coin flip. I feel bad for the guy, but we got the opportunity. We took advantage of it, and we are where we are now.
All right.
So I personally think that, if it were to come down to that situation, the narrative would be exactly the same.
What's your takeaway on Sunday? Are you predicting your team to win?
I'm a diehard Bengal fan of 27 years, man. If I don't take my team, then I'm not a fan. But at the same time, realistically, I think it's going to be another shootout, and I think it's going to be a close game. I honestly don't know who wins.
All right, good stuff. Dakota, thank you, man. Appreciate the call.
Hey, no worries. You have a wonderful day, man.
All right, Dakota said he's 27 years old. He's been a Bengals fan his entire life. He's used to the narrative of it being, not in favor of the Cincinnati Bengals. And for the first time in a long, long time, that narrative is starting to change a bit. Maybe not this particular week because you're going up against a buzzsaw that is Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I will defend you guys on this one, though. It's not as if you haven't played the Chiefs this year. It's not as if you haven't kicked the Chiefs' ass this year, right? Like, I shouldn't say you kicked their ass, but like Joe Burrow did. They didn't have an answer for Joe Burrow. While everyone is sitting here talking about, well, the Bengals defense, they need an answer for Patrick Mahomes. They need an answer for Travis Kelsey. They need an answer, for Hill and all these guys. And I'm thinking, but they had an answer for it last time. That answer was Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. They have the answer for it. And people are acting like that matchup didn't happen. That's the one thing I will defend the Bengals on and their fan base and why the frustration is warranted. What the hell are these people why are they not talking about the last time this matchup happened? I saw CBS Sports tweeted about the last time the Bengals and Chiefs played back in 19 or 18 when the Bengals were rebuilding. And of course, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs kicked the Bengals' ass. Of course they did. I mean, we got to go back years to find a matchup that's favorable to fit the narrative of the Patrick. It's not even a narrative. It's just to fit their narrative of the team that they're pushing, I guess. But the one thing I will give you guys as far as the warranted frustration is concerned, they are acting as if this matchup never happened just about 5 weeks ago. Like that, I'll give you that. That one you have every right to be frustrated about because will they have an answer for him? Yes, that answer's Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. The Bills. Are we really acting like, do they have an answer for Patrick Mahomes? The Bills didn't have an answer for Patrick Mahomes. The Bills were a coin flip away from having an answer for Patrick Mahomes. And that's really what it's going to come down to this Sunday. Who has the ball last? It very well could be, just like the last time these two teams play, who has the ball last? Joe Burrow, the Cincinnati Bengals, that's their answer. Stop asking stupid questions and looking for answers that you already have the answers to. 518-1410. Let's go to Jason. Jason, how are you? Thanks for holding.
Good, Justin. Hey, I am a huge Bengals fan, and I, for one, am excited the Bengals. I haven't seen them in a game this big since 88.
I was -1 at that time. I was not born yet. I wasn't born until 89, so there you go.
The one problem I do have is all the comparisons of all the quarterbacks. You mentioned what's his name for Kansas City, has had a much better career than Burrow has. Well, he took over a playoff team already. They went to playoffs the year before he took over. Burrow was the number 1 draft pick. So Mahomes should have had a much better start to his career than what Burrow did.
No, and that's fair. And look, I talked about this yesterday with Kev as well. Like when we start analyzing these quarterbacks, like for instance, everyone's already down on Trevor Lawrence over in Jacksonville, and they're like, when you saw Joe Burrow, you knew that the Bengals had something special. Well, Joe Burrow, despite not having Jamar Chase last year, still had Joe Mixon, still had T. Higgins, still had Tyler Boyd. So yes, it was easier for Joe Burrow to show off what he was capable of if they put a better team around him, but he had enough weapons to do that. Trevor Lawrence doesn't have that in Jacksonville. Obviously, it's a lot easier to be a rookie quarterback. It's a lot easier to be a young quarterback in the NFL if your team provides you weapons, and that's something that teams like the Jets and the Jags don't do. That's something that the Chiefs did do, and it's something that the Bengals obviously did, and they're reaping the benefits of it. The Bills didn't even provide weapons for Josh Allen for the longest time. People are acting like, man, what took him so long? Well, what took the Bills so long to finally get him a Stephon Diggs? I mean, that's what took so long. It's the team sometimes more so than the actual player.
Oh, I agree 100%.
But Jason, I appreciate the call. And look, here's the other thing too about this. If Patrick Mahomes doesn't exist, this Joe Burrow run right now, 2-win team 2 years ago to a game away from a Super Bowl this year, Joe Burrow would be one of the best storylines in the history of the NFL when it comes to these quick turnarounds. To have a chance to get to the Super Bowl after, having the number 1 overall pick 2 years ago, picking in the top 5 again last year, and now all of a sudden here they are a game away from a Super Bowl. That's impressive, and the only reason it's not as impressive in the eyes of most is because it's not even close to what Patrick Mahomes did in his first couple years in the league. I know he didn't start that first year because that was Alex Smith's first year, but Patrick Mahomes really came onto the scene in his first full year as a starter. Gets, wins an MVP. Next year gets to a Super Bowl, wins the Super Bowl MVP, gets back to a Super Bowl his third year. Or wins an MVP, doesn't get to the Super Bowl, but the next year, gets to the Super Bowl MVP, and is a game away from getting back to the Super Bowl again for the third straight season. So the Patrick Mahomes run in Kansas City has been fantastic. That's the only thing overshadowing what Joe Burrow has done. No quarterback outside of Patrick Mahomes of these current quarterbacks has turned a franchise around quicker. So there you go. 518-1410. Is this regular Charlie or is this Victor in Baltimore again?
This is Charlie. Bengals, noted Bengals fan.
Since when? I didn't know you were a Bengals fan. That's weird.
Okay. You got me. You know what? I just want to say thank you, Justin, again, for, helping us poor, whiny Bengals fans learn how to
someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it. I'm here to educate you.
Well, we're so emotional. We don't know how to think or feel about our team. So thank you so much for that.
So let me get this straight. It is 3:39, Charlie. I have done nothing but say good things about your team, and you still find a way to spin it into me taking a shot at you guys. You're proving my point, sir.
Well, I don't see the problem with fans who have sat. I'm in this group. A good friend of mine, TJ, that listens to the show, faithful Bengals fan, season ticket holder for probably a decade. Okay, guys like us and all the other Houday fans out there, why can't we get a little, it's a little touchy. Why can't we be?
It's called reading the room and knowing where you came from.
Do you want me to read the room real quick? I'll
read the room
for you.
Read the room. Your franchise has been a laughing stock. You finally get to the adult table, and you're sitting there trying to lead the family prayer. You just got to sit there and just be quiet and enjoy sitting at the adult table for a little bit before you start leading the team prayer.
Yeah, Joe Burrow brought his own table into the adult room. Okay, there wasn't no table until Joe Burrow showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you something else.
Tell me something else, Charlie. Tell me.
Patrick Mahomes won a Super Bowl 2 years ago, right?
Yep.
This is his fourth season.
Okay.
If Joe Burrow would have been the quarterback for the Chiefs for the last 3 years, they would have 3 Super Bowls. That's because Patrick Mahomes doesn't have the ability to maximize the talent around him like how Joe Burrow does.
See, this is where you're going to lose me. I'm gonna just give up and just go back to bashing you guys because you're embarrassing your fan base right now. You're trying to call in to discredit Patrick Mahomes. See, you don't have to do that. You can call in and plead the case for your team without having to try to convince people that Patrick Mahomes is not a good quarterback. Like that's where I'm not even going to allow you to keep talking. That's silly. That's just ridiculous. That's embarrassing, and I feel bad for you. And you wonder why your fan base gets made fun of so much because there's too many guys like you trying to discredit Patrick Mahomes instead of just saying, yeah, they're pretty good.
There's certain people who know how to win. There's certain people who are really good at football. Joe Burrow knows how to win. Okay? He's like Tom Brady. Okay? Peyton Manning.
Joe Burrow lost 6 times this year. What the hell does that have to do with anything?
Oh, he's playing the AFC Championship right now.
Uh-huh.
So,
but don't say stupid things like all he does is win. All he does is win. He found 6 weeks throughout the year to kind of take a game off.
He took a 21-year-old kid at wide receiver and went to the AFC Championship. That's something.
Thank you, Ravens. Thank you, Browns. And quite the run to the AFC title game, Mr. Derek Carr and Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, and by the way, for anyone doubting whether or not we can beat the Chiefs, we're the only team that can beat the Chiefs. We just beat them.
Well, this weekend, yeah. I mean, there's only one team that could beat the Chiefs this weekend. And, I mean, you're the only team that has a shot.
We're the only team in the last 12 games that's beat the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we went toe-to-toe with the Packers, missed field goals. We went toe-to-toe with the Niners. We're going to beat the Chiefs, and if the Chiefs had Joe Burrow, it wouldn't even be a question of whether or not the Chiefs could win because that's how good Joe Burrow is.
Yeah, I agree. Patrick Mahomes, he sucks. You want to talk about one of the most overrated guys in the league? I would take Baker Mayfield over Patrick Mahomes. You've convinced me.
I'm not saying that.
That's exactly what you're saying, Charlie. In fact, I'm hanging up on you because, like I said, see, I try to do the right thing. I try to defend the Bengals fans. I try to give you what you want. But then Charlie calls in, and instead of just trying to prop up his team, which I'm all for, to prop up your team by discrediting the other team, I can't get on board with that. That was my whole point about all of this, was stop being offended by the Chiefs getting all the attention and the Chiefs being propped up, because the Chiefs deserve it. They've proven it. They've done it longer. The Bengals are trying to prove that they're not a Cinderella team. The Bengals are trying to prove that, okay, Joe Burrow keeps saying that this is the standard now moving forward. Okay. You ended a 31-year playoff win drought. Now, you can't just win one, win two, and say, that's it. This is the standard moving forward. Okay, every year, there are 8 teams that makes the playoffs that don't make it the next year, every year. And every year, every team that makes the playoffs thinks, man, we're good in making the playoffs this year. Imagine what we could do in this offseason to really prop us up a bit. The Bengals are set up for success, though, because you do have a real quarterback. You have the best wide receiver core in football. I'll give you that. All right. And you have, 50-60 million cap space. I'm very confident that the Bengals will be back in the playoffs next year. But I was also very confident that the Browns would be back in the playoffs this year. You don't know. So you got to focus on the now. And right now, the Bengals haven't done anything to deserve more respect than the Chiefs. But I don't believe that the people picking the Chiefs and talking about Patrick Mahomes, that they're doing it in spite of Joe Burrow in the Cincinnati Bengals. Just enjoy what you are, and that's a good story for right now. But until it happens, until you actually hoist up that AFC Championship trophy and head to the Super Bowl, I don't even care if you win it. Getting there is, that's an accomplishment in itself. Getting to this point is an accomplishment in itself. But don't call in and try to convince me that the Bengals are going to win because they have Joe Burrow and that he's better than Patrick Mahomes. No one's better than Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the National Football League. Now, does that mean that Joe Burrow's bad? No, it does not. 518-1410, 518-1410. We'll step away for a few moments. Phone lines are officially back open. I'll start answering those here in the next few moments to get you guys on hold, and we'll hit the ground running with your calls and your takes on this Bengals matchup with the Chiefs when we come back.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
70% of the Fortune 100 choose Zoom. With phone, chat, workspaces, apps, events, and video in a single platform, Zoom powers all your communications. Large enterprises, small businesses, and individuals use the secure Zoom platform to enable new ways of working, learning, hosting events, and supporting their customers. And now you can save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with the Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
Right now, people are home with their pets more often, and I think now, especially with the shedding, they're more cognizant of what's going on and that it's an actual issue, and Dynavite has helped tremendously in our house with that.
I just heard the Dynavite commercial so many times that I said, you know what, I'll give it a shot, and I ordered it and tried it, and it worked.
The Dynavite, the being at home, working with them, they all love it. Me and Chewy are together 24/7.
Within 3 weeks, he's not scratching and itching, and he's an all-around happier dog.
DINOVITE.com.
KTH Parts Industries has immediate openings for second and third shift production associates and equipment technicians. KTH promotes from within, offers an attractive benefit package including medical, dental, 401k, attendance bonus, and a competitive wage, starting at $19 per hour with annual increases and shift differential. KTH will be hosting walk-in interviews Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. through 3 p.m. Please bring a resume and photo ID to apply or see other career opportunities at kth.net. KTH is an equal opportunity employer.
I'm Joel Clark, a Select Quote agent, with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and he can't take it with him. Well, I went to work and found Ray, who's 40 and takes medication to control his high blood pressure, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. That's way more coverage for a lot less than what he was paying. If SelectQuote didn't shop for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote and to find out how much you can save, call 1-800-885-9500. That's 1-800-885-9500. 1-800-885-9500. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to assist veterans during this COVID-19 pandemic. Even though we are not meeting face-to-face, we are here for you. We understand it is a difficult time with this virus threat and the strain of implementing social distancing. For those Montgomery County veterans who have lost their source of income due to their employers having to close or reduce their business hours due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you may be eligible for COVID-19 Special Financial Relief Assistance. Please contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday for more information or to have an application sent to you. You can also visit mcvsc.org. The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to help Montgomery County veterans during the COVID-19 crisis. Call 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday or visit them online at mcvsc.org.
Look, staying healthy isn't easy. Watching your diet, hitting the gym, avoiding stress. But a good night's rest helps boost your overall health and wellness. And it couldn't be easier. The Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed effortlessly adjusts and responds to both of you. The result? You wake up ready for anything. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. And now, during our January sale, save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed, plus special financing, only for a limited time. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job?
Not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The Lowe's Just for Pros event is back. Get savings on the top tools, plus bonus perks to help with your business. Lowe's, the new home for pros. Valid 117 to 128 U.S. only.
Hey guys, if you love football, Sunday, February 13th is a big day. And if you'd like to score points of your own, Monday, February 14th is even bigger. Order our Midnight Romance Special and have it delivered on Thursday or Friday of that week. It includes roses, Esther Price candy, and a bottle of wine. Order at firsttheflorist.com. That's F-U-R-S-T, theflorist.com. First Florist and Greenhouses, Dayton's largest family-owned florist and greenhouses at 1306 Troy Street since 1905. Order our Midnight Romance Special now.
Yes, Miss Tubbs. No problem. I'll call someone about the plumbing.
One of Beatrice's properties needs a new superintendent.
Custodial team is not
someone with handyman superpowers and a concierge alter ego.
Does anyone know any good electricians near Parkville?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
CSX, a growing Fortune 500 logistics company, has immediate openings for freight train conductors. If you're looking for a rewarding career offering paid training at nearly $25 per hour, competitive benefits, and you share a passion for great service, apply today at csx.com/careers. That's csx.com/careers. CSX, committed to supporting military and veteran families and their communities. CSX is an equal opportunity employer.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
All right, we are back. Justin Kinner. No Kev Nash today. Kev Nash will be back next week, but we welcome you back. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty, Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Well, the chat section has been hijacked once again by Bengals and Browns fans, just continuing to, I shouldn't even say Bengals and Browns fans. I keep seeing people in here, like, let me find this. I think this TJ guy is who the Charlie from Dayton or whatever referenced this TJ, longtime season ticket holder, been supporting a bad organization for a long time. Now they're finally good. Now they're trying to do the whole I told you so thing. Very frustrating, especially when I tried to defend the organization, and now I have fans continuing to sound like a bunch of fools, and now I got to put them in their place, and then I sound like a hater, and that's not what I'm trying to do today. I'm not anti-Cincinnati Bengal here. I'm just anti-dumb thoughts about the Cincinnati Bengals and this thought that Joe Burrow is better than Patrick Mahomes, that the Bengals are better than the Chiefs. Even though I know that they beat the Chiefs, I'm still not willing to say that they're better than the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not willing to say that a team that hasn't won a playoff game in 31 years that finally did so is all of a sudden magically better than a team that is a game away from heading to their third straight Super Bowl. I don't think that makes me a hater. I think that makes me a guy that's using some common sense, and I suggest that if more people started using that yes, supports the Who Dey Nation, everyone would just have a lot better conversations as far as that's concerned. I want to have conversations. I don't want to have to be talking with delusional people. You feel like your team's going to win, that's fine. But don't say things like, our team is definitely better than the Chiefs. Right now, I don't know who's better than anybody in this playoffs except for the team that's been to the Super Bowl for 2 straight seasons, about to potentially make it 3. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. The Rams on paper look like the most talented team. They are the most talented team remaining in the playoffs. The Rams are. I'm not willing to say they're the best team left. The Niners, that's a team that was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. The only reason they didn't even make the playoffs last year is because their quarterback got hurt, and Jimmy Garoppolo, no one looks at him as like a Joe Burrow or a Patrick Mahomes type, but can't deny the results that when that guy's on the field, his teams always seem to win. Whether it was stepping in for Tom Brady, the Patriots didn't miss a beat. They continued to win. Oh, well, that's just a Bill Belichick system. Oh, no, hold on. Goes to the Niners, who couldn't win a game, started winning. They won like 8 straight or whatever his first year as he was traded at the trade deadline. They missed the playoffs that year because they were already too far out of it when they traded. Comes back the next year, leads them to a Super Bowl. Everyone's all gung-ho about the Niners and Jimmy Garoppolo. He was known for that overthrow. He's not the most talented quarterback. He's nowhere close to being as skilled as Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers or what have you. Out now, he's a game away from a Super Bowl again. They're a great story. The Bengals. No playoff wins in 31 years. They get 2 playoff wins the last 2 weeks. They win the AFC North. While everyone was talking about the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens, Joe Burrow and the Bengals said, that's fine. You guys worry about them. We'll take care of ourselves. And that's what they're doing now. The Bengals, the organization is saying, y'all focus on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. You guys focus on the Rams, Matthew Stafford and Jalen Ramsey on the defense, of course, and Aaron Donald, and they go get Von Miller, and they just spent a crap ton of money on offense. They got Odell Beckham Jr. along with Cooper Kupp now, and it's like, holy smoke. Bengals are like, that's fine. You focus on them. We'll worry about us. Well, follow your team's suit here. Like, if you do that, It's going to be smoother. But don't do this cocky, arrogant thing where you haven't act like you've been there before. I know you've been there way more than the Cleveland Browns have. I'm not here to deny that. You guys act like I'm telling you that the Browns are this great organization. I've told you they're a bad organization. I don't even know why we're talking about the Browns, but the chat section is just nothing but Bengals and Browns fans going at it. Enough. Browns fans, sit this one out. We had our chance last year. We got a playoff win. That was super. That was great. We couldn't beat the team that the Bengals have on part of this coming up Sunday. We'll see what happens. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, and they didn't even have Patrick Mahomes. The Browns freaking lost to a backup quarterback, a Michigan quarterback at that. Defense couldn't get off the field for 8 minutes, but that was in the past. I'm not talking about that game right now. But hey, Browns, we had our chance. We couldn't beat the Chiefs. The Bengals have a chance to beat the Chiefs. They have a better chance to beat the Chiefs because they have a better quarterback than the Browns. They have a quarterback that matches up better against a Patrick Mahomes that I do believe can go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes. I do believe that. Everyone's worried about, well, how will the Bengals defense stop Travis Kelsey? The Bengals defense has been garbage against tight ends all season. That's fine. The Chiefs will try to alienate a lot of situations or isolate a lot of situations with Travis Kelsey against this Bengals defense, who has proven all season they can't stop the tight end. Okay, cool. While everyone's talking about in the national media, how are they going to stop Travis Kelsey? How the hell are they going to stop Jamar Chase? Like, they kind of neutralize one another. I think that the quarterbacks neutralize one another. I'll give slight advantage to Patrick Mahomes because I think he's more talented, and I would say that about Patrick Mahomes against any quarterback in the NFL, so don't get offended, Bengals fans. He's more talented. He's more experienced. He's the best quarterback in the National Football League, so I'll give a slight advantage there. But with the way Joe Burrow's played the last 5 weeks, he's averaged 390 passing yards over the last 5 weeks. I don't think he's as good as Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying that, but I think with the way he's playing in this particular little run right here, although he does need to put the ball in the end zone, he can go throw for throw with Patrick Mahomes in this game. I have no doubt about that. But don't call in and tell me that, Patrick Mahomes that he's only a product of the Andy Reid system and he's only a product of this. Patrick Mahomes is the most skilled quarterback we've seen come into the NFL in decades. Tom Brady's the most successful. Aaron Rodgers is super talented. But Patrick Mahomes has everything that you want in a quarterback. So be confident, but don't be delusional. That's the two different things. 518-1410 to the phones we go. Let's go to Mike. Mike, thanks for holding, sir. You're up.
Yes. Kenner.
Yes.
You couldn't be more wrong.
Okay.
First of all,
about what, though? About which part? Okay. All of it?
I'm not a Browns hater. I favor the Bengals a little more because I'm from the area and I got a lot of friends and family who are diehard Bengals fans, so I'm for the Bengals. But anyway, you talking about Burrow's situation and Mahomes' situation. Mahomes walked in there with Andy Reid and all that talent, and before Mahomes took over, they were in the playoffs every year.
Okay.
Burrows took over
Did I say they weren't? I don't believe I did.
New coach. Huh?
You're telling me things I already told you.
What do you mean?
I already talked about the fact. I talked about the fact that Patrick Mahomes came into the league and took over a playoff team and had a bunch of weapons around him. That's what allowed him to get eased into the league and get comfortable. Joe Burrow had weapons too.
Joe Burrow had no weapons when he came into the league.
Really? T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. That's not talent.
He had Boyd. He had Boyd when he came in.
T. Higgins was pretty damn good last year as a rookie.
Terrible offensive line, which he still has.
He still has a terrible offensive line. What's your point?
Burrow, my point is, Mahomes is probably the best quarterback in football right now.
Mm-hmm.
But he walked into a hell of a lot better situation than what Burrow's walked into. And I'm not being a Mahomes hater. I think Mahomes is great. I think Burrow's has a chance to be great. But I'm just saying, you sit there and act like there's a big difference between Mahomes and Burrows. Burrow's walked into a totally different situation. I mean, the Bengals were pathetic when he got there. He had a young, new coach. Mahomes walked in there with Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big difference to me. I mean, not taking nothing away from Mahomes. Mahomes is great. But you're acting like, Burrows came into a good situation also, and he did not at all.
I've been telling you and your entire sensitive fan base for years that was not a good situation. In fact, I said that wasn't a good team to go to. I have no clue why you're telling me that I'm wrong and saying that he ended up in a good situation.
Bengals fan. You didn't hear me because I said I'm not a diehard Bengals fan, but I do like the Bengals, but I'm not a diehard. I'm not being sensitive. I'm just saying.
Well, you're calling in telling me things that I've said that I haven't said. I've never said that Joe Burrow came into a good situation.
No, you said Mahomes didn't. Mahomes did come into a good situation.
I never said that he came into a bad situation. Talk about Patrick Mahomes now.
Mahomes came into a good situation.
I agree. Never said otherwise.
Yeah, but you're comparing the situations, and they're totally different. Mahomes came into a good. You said Mahomes and Burrows is identical. Not at all. Burrows came into a terrible situation.
Yes, Patrick Mahomes went to a better team than Joe Burrow did. But as far as I'm concerned, if Trevor Lawrence took over a team that had a T. Higgins and had a Tyler Boyd and a Joe Mixon, Trevor Lawrence would look a lot better than what he actually did this year.
Before Mahomes took over, they were in a playoff, team season playoffs every year.
Yep, we've established that a couple times already.
Yeah, well, I'm just letting you know, Burrows to get there, he's all right.
I agree. Never said he wasn't all right. I'm telling you, Burrow's really good. This is what I'm talking about. You guys are making up these things in your head like you're wanting to be offended by things. I have no clue what that last caller was alluding to in regards to me saying that Patrick Mahomes took over just as bad of a situation as Joe Burrow. No, Joe Burrow took over a horrible situation. That's what makes this storyline so intriguing. They won a combined 6 games in 2 years before last year. Or, I'm sorry, including last year. 2 wins 2 years ago, only 4 last year. And yet here they are a game away from a Super Bowl. I'm acknowledging that. But I'm also acknowledging, I was talking about Patrick Mahomes earlier. Yeah, he came into the league and was an immediate, it was a splash. And it was easier for him to it was easy for quarterbacks like Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes to make a splash in the NFL when you come in with weapons around you. Put Joe Burrow on that Jaguars team. Guarantee you he doesn't look as good. And that's not even an opinion. That's just common sense. Take good quarterbacks, put them with no weapons, watch. I mean, by the way, all right, but that's how that works. T. Higgins was a really, really good rookie wide receiver. Tyler Boyd was coming off of an extension. Why? Was it because he was bad? All right, Joe Mixon, one of the top running backs in the NFL the year before. So I have no clue why you guys live in this world where, oh man, Joe Burrow took nothing and turned it into something. They had a lot of nothing. They had historically one of the worst defenses in the history of the NFL. There's a reason that the front office decided to put $200 million. They spent $200 million over the last 2 off seasons, and it was all on the defense. It wasn't because Joe Burrow didn't have weapons on the offense. They still haven't even addressed the offense in free agent dollars yet. Oh, you added Riley Reef for 1 year. Big whoop. That really hasn't had an impact because Joe Burrow is still the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. That's not a shot at Joe Burrow. That just speaks even more about how talented he is. He's able to rise above that. It is. I have no clue why you guys are getting offended by this conversation today. This is actually the most positive I've ever been about this team in quite some time, and it's still drawn out the yahoos of the Bengal fan base. Unbelievable. Let's go to Dustin. Dustin, thanks for holding. How are you?
Man, I'll tell you what, Justin. Your circle of callers and listeners is small or something because everybody I know, nobody, and let me get it out of the way, I am a diehard Bengals fan. I have been pretty much my whole life, ever since I can remember watching sports. I'm 43 years old. I've seen a lot, not just Bengals. I've seen a lot of football, period. Everybody I know is ecstatic with where the Bengals are. I don't know a single person that is upset with the media, upset with national coverage and who's taking who this way. I don't know anybody. I mean, man, I'm telling you what, I work with a bunch of guys. We're all been through this our whole lives. I mean, we are pumped. We are happy to be where we're at because this doesn't happen very much.
Then maybe this doesn't pertain to you guys.
What's that?
Then maybe this doesn't pertain to you guys.
No, it does not. No, but I'm saying these people you're talking about or some of your callers make me laugh. It's just like, man, I don't know what you guys are arguing about. My 14-year-old son, obviously he's a Bengals fan. It's what he's seen this whole, growing up. And I'm telling him the last 3-4 weeks, son, don't forget this stuff. Remember these memories because we don't know when this will happen again. I mean, this is, we're just loving the moment. I'm running around the house. I'm driving my wife crazy. I'm playing Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle over the Bluetooth sound system. I'm playing that touchdown song you play on your show sometimes. I'm telling you, I don't know where these people, why they're upset. You got to live it. There you go, Justin. There you go. I mean, and my wife, she loves it. She says, this song sounds like it was made in the 60s. I said, well, I think it was, but it's just part of the stadium down there. It's what you do. Anyway, man, I'll tell you what, we're enjoying it. This is the most important part. Whatever happens Sunday, if you want a game prediction from me, Justin?
Yes.
Okay. I have no idea. I think, just going out on a limb, I'm going to say the Chiefs probably win, but that's not the point. And by the way, who knows what's going to happen? The game hasn't started yet, so who knows who the hell could win. Anyway, point is, things are changing down there in the jungle. Ice Cold Joe is coming for blood. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to be in the AFC title game year in and year out, but things are changing and they're going in the right direction. People got to enjoy this. Quit arguing. Quit being mad that whoever Pro Football Focus, whoever, isn't saying, no, you're not going to beat Patrick Mahomes. Probably won't. But damn it, you're in the AFC title game. Wasn't that long ago. When I was 11 years old, we were in an AFC title game. 11. I am 43. I mean, you got to enjoy this stuff while it's here, Justin.
I mean, and to be fair, that was the premise of this entire hour. That was my whole point.
I know that.
What my whole point was basically
I know.
just like,
I know
who
that.
cares what the national media says? I mean, it's all about, I mean, of course they're going to be pro Chiefs. Of course they're going to be pro Patrick Mahomes,
right.
who's
and you got to understand that.
Yeah. So that was my point.
I've seen a lot of football in my life. I'm not an expert, but I've seen a lot. Patrick Mahomes is one of a kind, man. I mean, this guy, it don't matter what NFL team he's on, they're going to be good. I mean, I know what your premise of this conversation was, and all I'm saying is I don't know who these people are that are mad and all this stuff about the national media coverage. And one other thing, Bengals fans, you got to enjoy all this love we're getting right now. Every time we turn on the news now, it's Bengals this, Bengals that. Everybody loves us. My neighbor, I love the guy. We're friends. He's a Browns fan. Man, I'm telling you what, I am loving this. He is, every time he sees me, he's hanging his head in shame. But you know what? It was the same thing last year when the Browns won a playoff game. That's what it's all about. You got to enjoy it while it's here, Justin.
Oh, I know, because a year from now, you could be sitting back watching everyone else have fun like I am right now. So there you go. But all right, Dustin, good stuff, man. Appreciate the call. And look, and Dustin just fell trap into what all of us do all the time. And that is, that's why I started the conversation today by saying, I've noticed on my social media, okay, that doesn't mean that everybody out there thinks this way, but like you guys do this all the time. I've noticed on social media, a lot of Bengals fans are, it's just, I'm not sensing like excitement on social media amongst my, who I see based on my algorithms on social media. It's a lot of people just doing nothing but complaining about national media hosts. So I prefaced it with that. And then you get guys like Dustin who call in and say, well, you I don't know who you are looking at because I have a bunch of people I work with. Specify a bunch. The 5 people you work with, that's not a bunch. Maybe you work with 50. I don't know, but specify and provide numbers, provide proof. I never said that every single Bengals fan out there is upset. This is why I don't talk nice about the Bengals, because somehow I always still end up feeling the same way as when I'm talking bad about the Bengals. Still blood pressure through the roof. Let's go to Clifford. Clifford, how are you, sir? Close this out this hour.
Yeah, how you doing? Okay, I know that in the future it's going to be a battle in that conference between in the AFC North between Lamar and Burrows.
Don't forget Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins, okay. Now, you silly. Now, how would you rank the quarterbacks? Now, I'm not talking about the success that Burrow's having this year, but I'm just talking about in general. How would you rank them? Even your quarterback,
Mason Rudolph would be the best quarterback in the AFC North. No questions asked. I'm joking, of course. Joe Burrow, number 1. Lamar, number 2. Baker, 3. And whoever is that quarterback for the Steelers, assuming it's not Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson. If they pull off one of those mega deals, this, blockbuster moves this offseason, if the Steelers stick to what they have, or even if they draft a Kenny Pickett or something along those lines, I'm not going to move Pickett up that list. I still think that, Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the AFC North, simply put. And then Lamar is 2. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. If they're talking about what you want out of a quarterback, and the ability to throw is very important. Baker was not throwing the football this year, and I'm not saying Baker's better than Lamar Jackson. All I'm saying is unless Lamar can figure out a way to throw the football to complement his athletic ability to run the football, I don't really care how fast he is. I don't care how athletic he is. I don't care, that he plays the quarterback different than anybody else. The bottom line is I need my quarterback to throw, which is kind of rich coming from me being a Baker Mayfield fan. But last year when healthy, Baker could throw the damn football. He did throw the football. And he threw the football this year when he was healthy. When he wasn't healthy, he didn't throw the football that well. I can't put Baker above Lamar. I never will. But Lamar's the strangest quarterback in the National Football League. I can't figure him out. Like, you don't want to, you always want to include him in your list of top quarterbacks, but then when you really watch him play, I'm thinking, man, he's exciting when he's running the football, but the second he has to be, a quarterback, he doesn't look like a top quarterback. And that's the thing too. Like, people get so offended when you do the whole, people only compliment his ability to run the football. Yes, because that's what he does really well. No one says Lamar Jackson, that's one hell of a thrower of the football now. No one says that. Not one single person. Nobody says that about Lamar Jackson. What they do is compliment his athleticism and his ability to run the football. And then you get labeled certain things if you start just talking about that side of his game only, which I think is completely wrong because he can't throw the football. It's that simple. Lamar Jackson can't throw the football. And I hope, if Bengals fans make their jokes, I hope the Browns pay Baker Mayfield. I hope the Ravens pay Lamar Jackson, because once they pay Lamar Jackson, right now, that's the thing too. The Ravens are being propped up by their defense. Their defense is why the Ravens, are able to win games. People say it's Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is the quarterback of the team that is winning games due to their defense. Okay. Back when the Steelers, when Big Ben was out and they had Mason Rudolph that year that they went 8-8, no one said that Mason Rudolph led them to 8-8. No, they were talking about how the defense led them. And I don't mean to disrespect Lamar Jackson by putting him in a conversation with Mason Rudolph, but let's be clear. The Cincinnati or the Baltimore Ravens, they were winning games this year despite being, missing so many key pieces in their secondary and even their running game and all that, because, their run game was, everyone's like, oh man, they don't have J.K. Dobbins. They don't have this guy. They don't have that guy. Where's their run game? Their run game's their quarterback. People overreacted to J.K. Dobbins and those guys being out. Very good running backs, don't get me wrong. But that's not why Baltimore offensively kind of fell off a cliff. They were able to still run the football because of Lamar Jackson. The only guy he could throw to was his tight end just a couple yards away. Outside of that, people need to stop saying that he doesn't have weapons either. He does have weapons. They went out and gotten Sammy Watkins. Is he a number one wide receiver? No. But you could still find ways to be able to get chunk yards. I'm just not a Lamar guy. Sorry. I'm just not. I'm not even close to being a Lamar guy. I hope the Ravens pay him, because once they pay him, they won't be able to afford all the big guys on the defensive side. And then obviously, you have Antonio Brown wanting to go to Baltimore. I can't wait for when he goes to Baltimore so that he can start complaining about not getting the football because he doesn't have a quarterback that can get him the football. That was a rant I wasn't prepared to go on. But anyways, 518-1410. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash minus Kev Nash today. We'll step away for a few moments. I guess technically hour number 2 coming in back, but we're already in now hour number 2. But we'll be back in just a few moments. 518-1410. We'll continue taking your calls. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Like and follow along, and also subscribe to ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel as well. We'll be back in just a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Ray Magliozzi here. eBay Motors has the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. And if there's one thing I love, it's great parts and great prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with snow, a high near 32. Tonight's also going to be cloudy with snow, a low around 22. And tomorrow will be mostly cloudy, a high near 24. I am Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Don't go through another year with that awful joint pain. Now there's an exciting new treatment available here using natural biologics, regenerative solutions that can restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints. Hey, it's Keith Byers. I'm talking about QC Kinetics, now open here. QC Kinetics is a nation leader in non-surgical regeneration, highly concentrated natural biologics that can give you lasting relief. If you have pain in your knees, back, shoulders, hips, and you're tired of steroids, pain meds, and talk of major surgery, this is a treatment you've been hoping for. Call the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. Learn about how natural biologics can be used to get you moving again, pain-free. Get a free second opinion at QC Kinetics. Do it now. And imagine life in 2022 without pain. Call QC Kinetics now, 937-936-0325. That number again is 937-936-0325.
Exergen would like you to know about an important new study by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has always known. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate, and they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. With new strains of COVID on the rise, we can't afford to tolerate rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
When your roommate borrows your car every day, it might be a blind spot. Even having people over to jump around on your trampoline. Yep, it also might be a blind spot. Blind spots are all the surprising things that might need more coverage that you weren't aware of. Good thing Allstate agents can help you find those blind spots while watching out for your wallet.
Call me, Dave Mowdy, at 325-2474. That's 325-2474. Right across the street from Frisch's on East Main Street in Springfield. Based on coverage selected, savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
March Madness and the Big Hoopla are back in Dayton with the 2022 NCAA First Four Men's Basketball Tournament, Tuesday, March 15 and Wednesday, March 16. Experience the madness live at UD Arena, following all protocols to ensure a safe and great time by all. The road starts here, March 15th and 16th at UD Arena. America's most passionate college basketball fans. Get your tickets and donate to be a part of our mission at DaytonHoopla.com.
Bring new life to your home with Lithonia Lighting. The Lithonia Lighting 6-inch new construction recessed housing features airtight construction and has a galvanized steel junction box that includes push-in connectors for easy wiring. The expandable bar hangers allow for off-center mounting in wood joist or T-bar ceilings. The Lithonia Lighting new construction recessed housing is only $6.99 during Menards More Bang for Your Buck sale. Price is good now through February 6th.
Save big money at Menards.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
You and your phone have been through a lot this past year. It's been your lifeline to the world. And now some big wireless company is telling you got to buy a new phone from them and sign their contract? They don't control you. With TracFone Wireless, you can keep the phone, number, and network you already have. Already got a 5G phone? Keep that too, because TracFone runs on America's best networks now with 5G nationwide. Plus, we've got unlimited talk and text smartphone plans starting at just $20. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. 5G nationwide access requires a 5G capable device. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
When you fill your prescriptions at Walgreens, you can track the progress of your order in real time. Know the price of your prescriptions before you go to pick them up. And anytime you have questions, use Pharmacy Chat to ask an expert 24 hours a day. Help with your meds from Walgreens. Side effects may include breathing a little easier because your prescription stress melted away. Learn more on the Walgreens app.
This price isn't final. This is an estimated price based on your insurance coverage.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. The study also reports that they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. We can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
Ray Magliozzi here. eBay Motors has the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. And if there's one thing I love, it's great parts and great prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
This tax filing season could be one for the record books. There are thousands of dollars worth of new tax credits on the table, and Jackson Hewitt will help make sure you get every one you deserve. Tax credits for being a parent, taking care of a parent, taking classes, and so much more. Don't leave thousands on the table. Jackson Hewitt will make sure you get credit for all you do and get your biggest refund guaranteed. Learn more and find your nearest location at jacksonhewitt.com.
When you needed your mom, she was always there with the Vicks Vapor Rub. She used that soothing scent to calm you. And her mom used it to calm her. And her mom, well, you get the idea. Vicks Vapor Rub's always been there. It always made you feel better. And today, it still does. Bring back those childhood memories with the comfort and care only Vicks Vapor Rub can bring. Vicks Vapor Rub, family tradition for a reason.
Exergen wants you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate, and they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. With new strains of COVID on the rise, we can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Hey, Skyline cheese lovers. Skyline is serving Skyways for a very limited time. Now through February 6th, order a Skyway and you'll get 50% extra cheese at no extra charge on your regular or large way. If you just can't get enough of that amazing shredded cheddar, come into Skyline and get 50% extra cheese at no extra charge. But hurry, Skyways are only at participating Skylines through February 6th. Feeling good. It's Skyline time.
Kid Rock Bad Reputation Tour. August 17th, Riverbend Music Center. The American Badass Kid Rock with Foreigner and a special appearance by Trey Lewis. On sale this Friday, 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com. Kid Rock.
You want more local content from Dayton's ESPN radio station 1410 Wing AM? Make sure you subscribe to the WING 1410 Dayton YouTube channel, where you can watch all your local shows live or go back and rewatch previous episodes of The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, The Keith Byers Show, Talking Out Loud with Sully, and more.
Deep breaths. Mize Virtual Meditation Studio has never been busier. Imagine not working. They need a remote assistant to realign their scheduling. Blank calendar. Sorry. Back to your breath. Indeed can help them hire great people fast. I need Indeed. Indeed you do. Make calls, schedule virtual interviews, and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
File in a way that fits you and get the refund you deserve. Jackson Hewitt Tax Pros can help you discover thousands worth of new tax credits so you get every dollar you deserve. Learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
The Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hey, Ray Magliozzi here. I'd like to carry more parts at my shop, but I just don't have the room. Every time I go in the back to get wiper blades, I trip over a dusty crate of Honda air filters, then bang my head on some GTO radiator hoses. eBay Motors never has that problem. They stock all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them, with everything from new headlights to vintage gear shifters. I can't imagine being able to stock 122 million parts. I mean, where would I get all those shelves? eBay Motors. Let's ride.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So we're going to sing it.
We're singing words now.
We'll even sing the business part.
Save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive.
Now, that's a commercial you'll remember, even if you don't remember the bundle and save with Progressive part.
We're singing that commercial.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
This is the end of the jingle. A jingle about insurance.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy all types of real estate completely as is. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizza, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
All right, we are back. Justin Kinner hanging out with you here on a Thursday. The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, brought to you by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty, and of course Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. We do have Ohio State basketball coming up for you on later on tonight. Coverage begins at 7:15, tip-off at 8 o'clock. We'll preview that matchup coming up here in just a moment. A couple big games coming up for both the Dayton Flyers and the Wright State Raiders. Wright State going to be on ESPNU coming up on Friday night, tomorrow night. Can't believe how fast this week is flying by. And it'll be Wright State against Cleveland State, 9 o'clock on ESPNU. They're doing a blackout at the Nutter Center. Tickets as low as $5 right now, so make sure you take advantage of that opportunity. Wright State, Cleveland State, two of the top three teams in the Horizon League. And Dayton does have two opportunities here with two teams here in the Miami Valley that, they win their conference tournament. They'll be dancing come this March, and both teams are very capable of it. Dayton, despite their slow start, obviously they've been able to kind of pick it back up again. I know they didn't look good the other night, but it's part of that up and down flow of being such a young team. But Deron Holmes, Malachi Smith, Dayton Flyers will be in action again tomorrow night as well. They'll be on ESPN2. That's a 7 o'clock game. They're doing a wideout, so we'll talk about that later on in the program as well. 518-1410, that's the number to call in and jump in on the conversation. And I did want to, start to react a little bit to some of the responses in the comment section. Doug Toby, right off the bat, he says, do you guys really believe that Mason Rudolph will be Pittsburgh's quarterback? He says it's not happening. I think that I don't think that anyone really wants to go. If you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, nobody wants to go into the season with Mason Rudolph as your starting quarterback. But I also think that, you got to understand what's the market like out there quarterback wise. The Steelers are not going to unload assets to go get a Derek Carr. They're not going to unload assets to go trade for a Kirk Cousins or to go out and get a quarterback like that. I would have to pull up what the free agent quarterback market looks like, but I have a hard time believing that any guy that's in the free agent market is going to be as good or a better fit than Mason Rudolph. Let's say it's a Marcus Mariota or a quarterback like that that's in the free agent market. I mean, technically, here's a quarterback to keep an eye out for. I guess I hadn't thought about this. Jameis Winston only did sign a 1-year deal with the Saints. Jameis Winston in Pittsburgh would be interesting. That literally just came to me as we were talking. I didn't think that there'd be a free agent quarterback that would be good enough to go into Pittsburgh to really, make things interesting. I did forget about Jameis Winston. I wouldn't pick Jameis Winston over Baker Mayfield. I wouldn't pick Jameis over Lamar, and I definitely wouldn't pick Jameis Winston over for Joe Burrow. But Jameis Winston, I guess I didn't think about that, but that's a name that the Steelers could go after. Only signed a 1-year deal with the Saints. So it'll be interesting to see what the Steelers do. I'm with you, Doug. I don't think that they want to go into the season with Mason Rudolph as their quarterback, but it's kind of a situation where you may not have a choice. The Dwayne Haskins experiment obviously hasn't panned out, not just with Dwayne Haskins in Pittsburgh, but Dwayne Haskins in the NFL in general. That's kind of been a bust, which is followed in line with all the other Buckeye quarterbacks that have come to the NFL. One of these Buckeye quarterbacks is going to hit. I don't think it's Justin Fields. I know a lot of you out there, you want to be big Buckeye fans and you want to believe that he could do it, but I'm sorry. I just don't. I see the Buckeye blogger websites just continue. Man, imagine if Justin Fields would have had some weapons. Imagine if he would have had an offensive line. You can tell when quarterbacks look like the part. Justin Fields never looked like the part. He had a couple, maybe a quarter or two where he looked the part, but come on, we got to stop with this idea that Justin Fields is actually the franchise quarterback for the Bears. The Bears did hire a head coach today. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment, but I'm not sold that Justin Fields is going to be this quarterback that everyone thinks he's going to be in the National Football League. Do I want him to be that guy? Yes. But I'm sorry. I don't believe that if the Bears had weapons, maybe he looks a little better. I talked about this earlier. I think that the reason that Joe Burrow was able to look as good as he did the second he landed in Cincinnati, they gave him a T. Higgins. He had a Tyler Boyd. He had a Joe Mixon. It's very easy to transition into the NFL if you have a couple offensive weapons to work with, and then Joe Burrow has this explosion of a year. I don't think it's a coincidence that he has this explosion of a season the second that they give him Jamar Chase. So it is what it is at this point. I'll be curious. I would love to see Justin Fields work out, but I'm curious, Buckeye fans, do you think he's going to be a franchise quarterback for the Bears? I don't think he's as bad as Dwayne Haskins, but I also don't look at Justin Fields and say, oh man, the Bears have their quarterback. Maybe they do. But I just don't see it. So yesterday, reports started stemming that the Browns started to make, they didn't really make a front office move. They're going to have to make a front office move because, their I was talking about how bad the front office is of the Browns. I didn't necessarily mean, I guess I shouldn't say, I never said that the Browns front office was terrible. I said that the organization is terrible. They have quite a few big names in the right places as we currently sit here right now. But at the end of the day, it's a situation where the Browns are still a bad organization despite having some nice names and some key, spots within that front office or whatever. But the Browns made headlines yesterday, not for making a move, but for having a move made against them. When you look at the fact that the Vikings were able to go out and pull their general manager or pull one of their pieces from their office to be in Kwesi to be their general manager, it started leading to a bunch of conversations about what this could mean for the Vikings and the Vikings wanting to move on from Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is due to make $35 million next year. I think the Vikings are on the brink of a rebuild right now. They have weapons. They have Adam Thielen. They have Justin Jefferson. They have Dalvin Cook. And Kirk Cousins hasn't won with them. So this idea that has started to stem from the fact that this piece from the Browns front office is now moved over to the Vikings general manager role. Now all these reports, Mary Kay Cabot yesterday was doing some media rounds discussing the idea of the Vikings trading Kirk Cousins to Cleveland now that Kwesi is in Minnesota, which Mary Kay Cabot, I'm not going to question her credibility. I know she ruffles a lot of feathers. She does irritate people along the way, but you know what? If you're a reporter, like Mary Kay Cabot's the kind of reporter I like because Mary Kay Cabot will go out there and get the story and she doesn't care who she upsets. 95% of the reporters I know, they're fanboys. They want to be liked by the quarterback. They want to be liked by the front office. They want to be liked by the coach. 95, and I'm being generous here. I don't think I'm being generous at all. It's probably more than that. Way too many reporters care too much about what the front office thinks of them, about what the quarterback thinks of them, about what the coach thinks of them. They don't want to ruffle feathers. They want to be fanboys and gals. You should see, everyone that covers Ohio State, they're not there to bring you the actual news. They're there to, oh man, I talked to CJ Stroud the other day and he was commenting on my shoelaces. He loved my shoelace color. Man, me and CJ are tight. That's Buckeye media in general. That's why these Buckeye fanboy websites exist, is because they exist so that they can pretend that they're doing their job, but they're just there to bring you media fanboy stuff. They're not there to actually cover the team. If they covered the team, there would have been more that would have come out. It wouldn't have taken Brett McMurphy to be able to crack this story on Urban Meyer back in the day. We hate Brett McMurphy, but McMurphy was doing his job. Buckeye media fanboys covering the team, they weren't doing their job. It's as simple as that. The fanboy media that covers the Cincinnati Reds and the Cincinnati Bengals, they're more interested in hopefully getting one of the players to retweet their articles so they can say, oh, me and the players are tight. Stop it with all that. I don't care about any of that. That's what drives me nuts about that. Mary Kay Cabot, she's going to go digging. She is going to go find a story. She is going to ruffle feathers. That's why I like Mary Kay Cabot. I respect Mary Kay Cabot. Well, all Browns fans usually kind of crap on her a little bit. As a Browns fan, she irritates me from that perspective, because she reports on things that I don't like her reporting on because I'm like, stop it. You're stirring the pot. Sorry. You're doing your job, ma'am. I'm sorry. You're doing your job. I like Mary Kay Cabot for that reason right there. She's not a fangirl. She's not fangirling out. Oh my gosh, I talked to Baker Mayfield today. Oh my gosh, I talked to Kevin Stefanski. No, she's there to do her job. They notice when she walks in the room, not the other way around, because when she walks in the room, they know they have to be on their A game because she's going to expose them if they're up to anything kind of goofy. So Mary Kay Cabot, she starts discussing this idea that Kirk Cousins could be potentially traded to Cleveland now that Kwesi is now in place as the general manager of the Vikings. And everyone's all upset. Everyone's all angry about this. Now, I'm angry not at Mary Kay Cabot. I'm angry at the Browns for being stupid enough to potentially even entertain this idea. I know the cool thing now is to hate Baker Mayfield. I get it. Baker Mayfield's not a bad quarterback, folks. I'm not here to do a whole segment on why I think Baker Mayfield's good. Baker Mayfield's good. If I have to explain it to you, I'm not going to change your mind. You've made up your mind when it comes to Baker Mayfield. But results matter. And when Baker Mayfield's healthy, he has provided a spark for the city of Cleveland at that position that they've been spending decades looking for it. And if you go down this rabbit hole of trying to search for your next Kirk Cousins, Cleveland is right back up to their old tricks. Going after a Kirk Cousins, that's the same exact thing that they were doing when they were chasing the Jeff Garcias of the world and the Jake Delomes of the world and just continuing to kick the tires on all these veteran quarterbacks. It's like eventually you got to stop taking the scraps of other teams and start developing your own. And they've actually done a pretty good job developing Baker. If he wasn't hurt this year, we're not having this conversation. That's what's frustrating about all of this. The injury to Baker could not have come at a worse time. Baker's not elite. It's not top 10. I'm not trying to get into that debate with you, but Baker Mayfield is not bad. He's not a bad quarterback. Kirk Cousins, for the Browns fans out there that actually believe that they want Kirk Cousins over Baker Mayfield, I don't even know what to say to that. Kirk Cousins has Justin Jefferson. He has Dalvin Cook. He has Adam Thielen. And Kirk Cousins can't win with that group. You want to take Kirk Cousins, who can't win with Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. You want to get a Kirk Cousins who can't win with those guys and bring him to Cleveland, who, outside of Nick Chubb, they don't have one dynamic playmaker that even comes close to being as talented as Adam Thielen or Justin Jefferson, period. Jarvis Landry's good. He's not Adam Thielen. He is not Justin Jefferson. Not even close. If Kirk Cousins can't win with those guys, why would you want him to come to Cleveland? Oh, because he runs Kevin Stefanski's little handoff play action offense really well. There's been the best season that Kirk Cousins has ever had was one time with Kevin Stefanski. And that one time, Kirk Cousins won 10 games. 10 games. That's two more than what the Browns finished with this year, in which we consider that a horrible season. That's actually 3 less than what Baker Mayfield finished total wins-wise last year. I don't want to hear about Kirk Cousins in Cleveland. That's a disaster. I will take a less, arm-talented Derek Carr over a Kirk Cousins. Derek Carr is a winning quarterback that I think would fit well in Cleveland. Do I want them to go get Derek Carr? No, I do not. If they kick the tires on Derek Carr and they land him, more power to him. I don't think that's a bad move. I think Cleveland is very well suited at quarterback if that's the case. Is Derek Carr better than Lamar or better than Joe Burrow? No, but it's still, you could still win with him. Baker Mayfield, you could win with Baker Mayfield. I think the Browns would be foolish. Oh, and yeah, on top of all of that, you want to get a quarterback that can't win with Dalvin Cook, that can't win with Adam Thielen, that can't win with Justin Jefferson, and you want to get that quarterback at $35 million when you could have Baker Mayfield at $20 million, who can win with this group. We talked earlier about all the weapons. People say that Baker Mayfield has all these weapons. He doesn't have wide receivers. Jarvis Landry is his best receiver. And no offense to Jarvis Landry, but he's not a number one. He's a very, very good wide receiver, and Baker Mayfield and him work really well together. That's all he has is Jarvis Landry. He made Higgins work, at a decent level, but over Donovan Peoples-Jones, for every big catch he makes, he has 3 drops to go with it. They brought over OBJ because OBJ was supposed to have that Jamar Chase effect, and it was chasing him out of Cleveland. That's all that happened. It didn't work. And we're, for people that think that, it's Baker Mayfield's fault why it didn't work. Look, OBJ is making some catches, obviously, with the Rams, but overall the targets are the same. The receptions are the same. The yards are the same. Touchdowns is the only thing that is different between his time in Cleveland and the Rams. And the reason that is because OBJ was supposed to be the number 1 wide receiver in Cleveland. He's getting touchdowns in LA because the real number 1 wide receiver in Cooper Kupp is getting all the defensive attention. Because OBJ was not good enough to demand the same attention from defenses that Cooper Kupp is getting, and he definitely didn't produce like Cooper Kupp does for the Rams when he was in Cleveland. It's as simple as that. So I don't want anything to do with Kirk Cousins. I don't want his $35 million contract that he's overpaid for to begin with. I don't want a quarterback that can't win with Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook. You can't win with those guys. I don't want you coming over here to Cleveland where your best receiver right now is Donovan Peoples-Jones because Jarvis is probably as good as gone. So no. Bengals fans, you probably want Kirk Cousins, and that's understandable. I get that. I know you guys don't like Baker. You guys pick up Baker, whatever. I ain't going to change your mind. You're not going to change mine. But I think we can all agree that Kirk Cousins, I would love to hear if anyone thinks it's a good idea. Can anyone out there actually convince me that Kirk Cousins is a good idea in Cleveland? It's not. There's not one tiny little thing that makes sense about him in Cleveland. Not one. There is not one tiny little bit of that scenario that makes sense in Cleveland. Oh, but he had success with Kevin Stefanski. Baker Mayfield had success with Kevin Stefanski just last season when healthy. You guys act like this Kevin Stefanski, Baker Mayfield thing has not worked. Kevin Stefanski was coach of the year last year. Why? Because it worked. Kevin Stefanski was not a very good coach this year. Why? Because his quarterback was hurt. It's not that hard. It's very simple, actually. Can you improve at quarterback if you're the Browns? Yes. If you could find a way to get a Deshaun Watson, more power to you. If you could find a way to get a Russell Wilson from the Seahawks, by all means, go do it. If you could find a way to somehow, some way get Aaron Rodgers for 1 year from Green Bay, by all means, do it. But what you don't do is you don't mess with something to go get a Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins isn't the guy that you sell the farm for. You don't bring in Kirk Cousins making that much. Give me a break. Jake Whiting says Case Keenum was better than Kirk Cousins. Case Keenum had a very, very good year with Kevin Stefanski. And maybe, just maybe, Kevin Stefanski is like a one-night stand. Okay? You're going to enjoy yourself one time, and that's it. Kirk Cousins enjoyed himself one time with Kevin Stefanski, right? Case Keenum enjoyed himself one time with Kevin Stefanski, right? Baker Mayfield, maybe that one time that he got to enjoy being with Kevin Stefanski, maybe it was last season because now he's bad this year all of a sudden. I don't know what it is about Kevin Stefanski. He's able to maximize talent for one season and one season only, and then we don't talk about it. Oh, well, he had success with Case Keenum for 1 year. That's what everyone keeps talking about. People keep using the 1 year of Case Keenum to justify bringing him to Cleveland. Now they're using Kirk Cousins one good year with the Vikings with Kevin Stefanski to justify bringing him to Cleveland. When you already have a quarterback that's already had a good year with Kevin Stefanski, who already is in the system. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Kev Nash will be back on the show next week. I know some of you are very excited about that. I get it. I'm not for everyone. Ron Howard says Winston's a good choice. New Orleans does not have a head coach. Yeah, Jameis Winston, he's not going back to New Orleans. I think Pittsburgh ends up with Jameis Winston. It's a name that I hadn't even thought about till mid-conversation. I do think that that's going to be the case. Doug Toby says Cleveland spent too much money on free agents like Clowney. Are you kidding, Doug Toby? Seriously? Clowney produced. Clowney and Myles Garrett were fantastic. Cleveland has to find a way to get Myles Garrett back next year. Like, if you're going to take shots at my team, you at least got to know what the hell you're talking about. Like, when I point out things with your team, I at least know what the hell I'm talking about. Sure, I got some stuff wrong, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But he goes on to say, when they should have got their quarterback some help. I'm sorry, but Baker Mayfield, unless you could buy his health, that's not going to happen, Doug Toby. They spent the money the right way. They did it the right way. They loaded up the offensive line early in his career. They got him the run game early in his career. They got him a bunch of wide receivers. They just got the wrong wide receivers. Jarvis was okay. Donovan Peoples-Jones wasn't a bad draft pick. He's just not an elite wide receiver. OBJ did not work out. That was the worst decision they ever made, was bringing him to Cleveland. I don't criticize the decision to bring him to Cleveland. It's just obviously didn't work out, right? I don't know. I still, to this day, back when they brought OBJ to Cleveland, I was all for it. I liked the idea. Why not? At that time, the perception of OBJ was he was a top 5 wide receiver. Any team that brought him in was going to be applauded for that. Obviously, it didn't work out, and now everyone's looking back saying, I knew it wasn't going to work. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. 95% of the time you get a top 5 wide receiver, it usually works out. Thing is, I don't think it was Baker. I don't think OBJ is a top 5 wide receiver. That's ended up being the problem. Like the Bengals getting Chase at wide receiver instead of lineman. If you think that the Bengals still did the right thing by not addressing that offensive line, I admitted I was wrong. I'm glad they got Jamar Chase. That was clearly the smart thing. But when Joe Burrow ends up being the next Andrew Luck because you guys continue to ignore the offensive line, I don't want to hear it. I ain't going to feel bad. In fact, I'll laugh, and I don't care how insensitive that makes me feel or sound or look. The Justin Kinner Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. We'll have Jason Fitz next.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer. For a limited time, get 0.9% financing on the